Good evening. Good evening. We go again. Episode number 4, I believe, the Darkness to Light Godcast. With myself, Jim McFadyen here in the Vortex. And it's funny watching how these episodes are coming through. As with the rest of the work that I'm doing, I have been doing within the Vortex, I'm really just documenting what I'm doing just now. And always have been. That's why it's one that feels quite easy, because I'm only really talking about what I'm going through or what I'm seeing about me. It keeps it the stuff that I'm working on and what kind of area of my own life. With the posts, I'm kind of expressing what's going on with me, or what's wrong about me. The people that I'm meeting and. Helping them with their own journey, or coaching them, or they're coming through, sending messages or any of that kind of stuff. So the stuff that I'm talking about, it's going to be never ending. It's a continuous flow of stuff, because this work doesn't stop. It's an amazing process. This business, especially for somebody like me, it was involved. Most of my life, in the building trade, and since this place opened in 2016, and in the last probably two years-ish became professional and full-time. It's fascinating just watching, as a business and how it goes together, and then the expansion of that business and the people that have been attracted to it, and how the work's evolving, and how I'm reacting and responding and going through it. So I love it. It's one of the guys last night, we had the Monday night as a boys club, which is really for only those who are in the programme. It's limited to 7 places and myself. That's because of the size of the sauna we've got here. And one of the inner circle was asking, everybody had left, and he was asking about what bit do you not like? He was just asking how busy I was and what I've been up to, and it's full on. Like, even for a normal workshop, I can be a couple of hours before it preparing the place, between the barrel and the sauna, and getting the place prepared and ready, washing all the towels, all that kind of stuff, the kind of housekeeping stuff. Then the workshop itself, which last night was the best part of just over 3 hours. And then there's the other side of that as well. So it's a good 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hour shift all in. And he was asking what bit that I didn't like, and I love every single bit of it. That was my response. I love it all. It isn't work. I get so much pleasure in all of it. No matter what it is, whether I'm preparing the place, or thinking about who's coming, or what we're going to talk about, or what specific that is that we're dealing with in terms of whether it's mental health or physical well-being, or somebody's on a spiritual journey, or somebody's in the bones of their arse, or it depends on what's coming. It depends on where the session goes, Now sitting here, this is Wednesday evening. Tuesday evening. My days are all mixed up. Tuesday evening I'm recording this, and this is off the back of the Breathe and Believe event that we did on Sunday up at Portobello, which has been my second kind of standalone Breathe and Believe on my own, which obviously done. I've been to Portobello a couple of times before with the Heal Scotland movement a few years back, and now it's kind of solely through the Vortex. And Sunday was just an incredible day. It was absolutely fantastic, both leading up to the whole thing and then obviously during it as well. The weather and the people that are coming in, and the environment, it was fascinating. It was the best of days. There was no rain, which I think I've only ever once of all the many events I've done, especially the big free events outside, it's only ever rained once, and that was in Edinburgh as well. So we're driving up and the clouds were out, and I'm thinking, oh no, what is it with Edinburgh? But we got there and it was very windy and it was quite cold. Beach was soaking, the tide was still on its way out. And it was just amazing, the amount of people that turned up. I think it was just around about the 300 mark, slightly over, I think 300 signed up for it, which was really similar to Loch Lomond. And then again, very similar numbers, between 160 and 170 actually showed up on the day, which for the day that it was, I can imagine people looking at the forecasts and maybe being out for the night before, and then you wake up on Sunday morning, it's like it's the last thing you want to do, because they think about it's the cold water. And then people coming in with that workshop itself, which is a free event, it's open to anybody, so that's very different from somebody finding me through recommendations, word of mouth, and then looking for something specific, which is normally on the back of somebody else's good experience. So a lot of people coming in there on Sunday, a lot of them maybe not fair to say, but some of them certainly were coming in just to see what it was all about. And I got quite a lot of, I was very cynical coming into this, and then obviously once they get through the experience, we could normally which is what it's all about. The experience is what it's all about. That's everything. You can talk about it till you're blue in the face, but once you actually go through it, then people, then they can say aye or no. And for me on Sunday, the amount of the goodness, the amount of positive, stories and experiences and connections that were made with each other, absolutely, with the self, people reconnecting back to themselves. It was absolutely beautiful, and obviously with nature as well. It was so hard, the conditions on the sea. Anybody that got in, there was blood flying about. Somebody cut their leg in the stones, and the waves were kind of crashing. And didn't look at that bad for the beach, but you got in a really kind of bumpy wee bit right at the very start. The far, I suppose that's the easterly side, the faraway side. It was fairly brutal. So there was no chance of a circle. For the first time, and it was just a case of getting in and trying to make sure everybody was still there when we got back out. But well done to everybody that got in. It's never easy, even in the middle of summer, that water's cold up there. It really is, that stretch of water. It's no easy, and thinking now after it, especially when you see the footage and you tune into the videos and you get the messages, I get the private messages, but also people signing up for the programme and getting more involved and running about this work. Committing to different things for themselves, different what they're going to do, and then committing with myself and the work that I'm doing. You get to see what people went through, and it was 99.9% positive. It was mostly all great goodness. Nothing went wrong. It's a powerful experience, so you're always give disclaimers about be ready, because it's not just a case of lying down, somebody's going to take me through some breathing. It's way more powerful than that, especially where I go with it, with this intentional breath. The plan is to go inside and reconnect back into your heart and back into your soul. When we start to get into the beyond the relaxation and into the meditation, things change and things can go deep. And as I say all the time, the unconscious mind, they do believe stores every single thing that's ever happened, which is a blessing and a curse. So things are going to come up, and in fact, with this work, I'm looking for things to come up. That's the intention behind it, is to help people find relief and get stuff up, and a lot of people, when they come into something like that, they're maybe not quite sure, or they don't know, or they've been brought with somebody else, and they think they're going for a wee cold up, because they're in a cold water group, or they've maybe done breath work at their yoga class, and then I take them in, and I'm talking about enlightenment, and telling my story, and let's get it up and fix it and change the world, and I can just imagine some people, actually two persons, two folk left, which is only the second time that's ever happened, with many thousands of people, and it was a cold day, and it was a windy day, but half an hour into, they just got up and they left, and it's just fascinating watching, the people that come and likes of that, they got up and leave, which never ever really happens. I think one person before at one of the big events. And then seeing the ones that stick about, the ones that are kind of getting frustrated during it, lying on your back for the best part of an hour and a half, probably breathing in those conditions, and wonder if the rain's going to come in, and then we actually get the experience itself, and you go through that experience and watching again what came up. The amount of tears again, which is great. I love tears. Tears are great. I cried every day for about 3 years once. I did. Just tears. There's so many different types of tears. That's the thing. Tears of sadness, tears of joy, tears of relief. Tears of inspiration. At the end of the day on Sunday, it was tears of joy. It was tears of happiness. Tears of relief. It certainly looked like during it, as things were coming up. Maybe not. Maybe tears of sadness and grieving, because when you actually stop, when people come in and I get them to stop, when they switch off the nervous system with the power of the breath, and then we switch off the mind and get them to out their head and stop thinking. Then the next stop, when that stops down, possibly for the first time in their lives, then the plan is to take them back into themselves, back into their heart, back into their soul, back into their feelings and their emotions. And when that happens, it's very much like when COVID. I remember when COVID struck, people were basically forced to stop for maybe the first time in their life. Especially guys, just like, okay, right, what am I doing? What is this all about? And since then, we see it often where people, they've got to find a different way of doing it. And that event, as I said several times, it's like a disclaimer. This is deep stuff. It's powerful stuff. And I suppose my confidence in terms of how I see it going together and what people get with it. It doesn't matter what's in there and what needs to come up. It's how we, get the other side of that and replace it and replenish it, and we transcend whatever it is. We bring in, certainly with the meditation, the plan is to get it up, get it out, and then we bring in that divine love and light that some people call God, and that normally fixes stuff. That authentic, real authentic love, that vibration that we call love, which at the end was just great. There's a video that I put up, everybody hugging, and Bon Iver's on in the background, and people are hugging, and there's no close-ups. There's no. You can feel the energy within the group. You can feel, that feeling of love. And that's very different from an hour and a half previous when people are coming in with their heats and their worries and their stresses and their strains in their life, and what the feck is this all about? It's very different. Then at the end, but you can't think, and everybody's at a heart level. I watched that again last night, and here with the boys club, where we all sat in meditation, and you can feel. And these are guys who are now they're training in this system, this intentional way of living. So meditation's an everyday, practice for them. And very quickly they get into their hearts and their feelings and emotions, and you can feel the entire room just changes. So you add that to 170 people. A lot had obviously never done it before. A lot had meditated, but didn't really, they weren't meditating properly in terms of how I would, what I would say meditation is. And you can feel it. It's palatable. It was a bumpy start on Sunday for me as well. I think the conditions, it wasn't the first couple of minutes, and then the story, which I think is important. And I think with this as well, and I'm going to be talking about this a lot, this came off the back of something that happened at the weekend, but all I'm really doing with this work is really expressing my view, my story on it. I'm not really an advocate for anything in terms of, I don't ever say to anybody, for instance, one of the things that came up from the weekend was somebody was having a go because they said that my message was kind of soured a wee bit because I was an anti-vaxxer. And that's not the case at all. I am not anti-vaccine at all. What I'm doing is talking about, when I speak about vaccines, is my experience of vaccines, which is very, very different. I believe that vaccines, at 13 years old, put me in a position with my physical health. It took me a long time to realise what it was wrong with me. And when I realised that it was vaccines, then I could trace it back to so many different things. And then when you start to hear other people's experiences of it, then everybody's different. Some people have positive effects, I do believe, with vaccinations, but when I'm speaking about vaccines and with any of this stuff, I'm talking about my own direct experience of what has happened to me, and how I see it, but never ever am I trying to really kind of shove it down anybody's throat. And so I'm certainly not an anti-vaxxer in terms of being a truther and all the conspiracy stuff. I've got my very strong beliefs, again based on my experience, and also the people that I see. I could tell you 100 stories of people coming through the Vortex, or private messages, or somebody that's directly linked to me just now, who went in for an operation and was given the COVID vaccination without his consent. And he certainly didn't know, right in the middle of the kind of madness. And developed blood clots in his lungs, and is struggling with it. And that's, and when he's saying, without me ever saying, look, what do you think? Do you think that's been a vaccine that's caused it? When he's actually saying, and this guy it wasn't a truther or an anti-vaxxer, absolutely, probably the furthest thing for the case. But when they're saying, and it's more than one, and it's many, if I'm being honest, that is what they believe. They can trace it right back to that day or the next day. Where things changed. And that was the case with me, so when I'm talking about, what I believe vaccines did to me and what they cost me, that's my own experience. I'm certainly not saying to anybody, this is, vaccines are bad and you can't take vaccines. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just talking about my experience of it. Also my daughter as well. I held my daughter down for a vaccine, and she developed skin conditions, and at the time I didn't know, human beings blessed with, that innocence of, okay, it must be good for you. I took my daughter in, and then she developed really bad eczema when she was young, which has cleared up recently over the last couple of years, but for a long time, probably 16, 17, 18 years of her life, it was fairly bad, and it affected her negatively. And one of the questions I always ask, with something like that and something like my experience, and one of somebody else at the weekend was basically having a go because I mentioned that, I was talking about the death by 1,000 cuts, so I did mention, my challenges with my experience with vaccinations, but also the toxicity we face, what's in the sky, it's in the water, what's in our food, what's in the environment, what's in, the signals that are battering us, left, right and centre, between the 5G or the 4G or the fucking Bee Gees, it's coming from everywhere. I was in Glasgow last week, driving in the amount of those towers that I was sitting outside primary schools. It's so again, is it that? Why are so many people getting sick? Because it's very, very different from what I remember. I'm 52 now. I remember when I was young. Sound like an old man, but somebody else had a go basically saying that you can't say that. I was linking it to the amount of different like autisms and Asperger's, all the different the challenges that we see way too often. And the point that I made was that didn't used to be the case when I was young. And this person disagreed with that. They thought that it used to be like that, and I'm thinking there was no way. When I was at school, there was anybody. There might have been one person who would be termed as, they had special requirements or special needs, or had some sort of genetic condition they'd been born with, or but in terms of the amount of people that we see just now, the amount of kids that we see just now, right up every age, and I believe we're all affected. Of course we are. I'm absolutely affected. I am absolutely affected with what happened to me at 13 years old. Still, as a 52-year-old, whatever was in that, it's affected my immune system. It has, it affects my stress response. It affects how I sleep and how I switch my mind off, and it kind of switched me on. And that's because I believe, stroke know, that my body's response to whatever it is that's in my body, whether it's through the vaccine itself, or whether it's through what's in the environment, or the foods that I've been eating, or you name it, the candles that we smell, this kind of smelly candles, or the deodorants, or the aluminium cans that I drank out my whole life when I was younger, the pots that we eat out of, what's in the water, what's in your toothpaste, what's in your shampoo, there's something that's causing it, and I think at least there need to be a discussion. The point this person made was that you can't say that, and again they took it on the back of me being it was a vaccine that caused this, and then I went on to close after that talking about the challenges we face with children, and she was basically saying that there's no way that vaccines cause autism, and I'm like, well, there's something there, there's something causing it. And interesting, I've then taken other people's take on it. And you see some of the things that people believe that the case is as to why it is. There's so many people getting autism, and one, again for a different person at the weekend, was talking about how it's passed down through the generations through like ancestral trauma, and I'm going maybe that might be the case. That could be passed on. I get that. If it's in the bloodline and. If that's there, but it's like with everybody. The amount of kids that we see that are struggling, and the amount of ADHDs. People in their 20s and their 30s and their 40s. I've had people actually relieved, like this is what I think's wrong with me, and they're almost happy because they'll be given this diagnosis. And a lot of that stuff to me is just stress. A lot of those diagnoses are just like chronic stress that manifests in overthinking and agitation of the mind, and not able to focus and can't sleep. And of course, we're in this information age that's just a continuous, never-ending flow of just stuff. Most of it is absolute crap. So the conscious mind is trained to always look for stuff. Your conscious is always looking for ways to make it better for you and find shortcuts and find your answers, the stuff you're looking for. So in this information age, there's going to be no end of supply of that kind of stuff. To keep us busy. So that's all good and well, if it's beneficial and if you're using it to your advantage. But if you can't turn it off, so if that nervous system is constantly in a state of stress and response and searching, that's fine for certain times of the day. If you're working during the day, you need to get up and get into it, great. But at certain points of your day, i.e. night time when it's time to go to sleep, then you need to switch it off, and that's the bit where the challenges come in, when that chronic stress, well, it becomes chronic, and you can't turn it off, and it's the kind of, I call it the figure eight, never-ending loop of questions and answers and solutions and chasing and working it out, and the journey, the struggle, what is it you're trying to get to, whatever you're trying to find for yourself, So the whole thing is hugely challenging. And it's a minefield, and it really is. And people are so polarised in terms of, when I mention even vaccines, depending on your belief system and your education and your experience of it, then obviously that's going to, affect massively what your take on it is. So when somebody like me standing up, all I'm doing is telling my story, and if that doesn't fit into your belief system, then it's really easy to have a go and have a pop. And I get that, I completely get it, so there's never any offence taken. But as I keep saying, one person in particular tried to debate me. They want to debate me in terms of to prove me wrong. And I don't debate this stuff. All I'm doing is speaking from what I know to be my truth. And the way that it works for me after this is my 27th year, every single day of intentional living and going inside and feeling what's going on in my body and feeling how I'm sleeping and how diets affect me and how like different supplements and the environment and stresses and strains and learning scientifically as well as, direct experience. So there's no room for debate. I don't debate. This is me speaking my truth, and that's not for everybody. That is not, and I get that as well, and that's completely okay as well. So if it isn't for you, fantastic. We send love. I send love, but we go in different directions because I'm not here to make anybody wrong, and I'm certainly not here to let anybody to make me wrong, because that's not going to happen because I'm speaking my truth. I'm speaking from where I was, what happened to me, what I've been through, how it affected me negatively, and then what I did to make it the best that I can, which has depended on what I'm doing, which is what this work is. I'm just sharing the stuff that helped me with the intention to pass it on to other people. And that's what that day's about on Sunday. That day is absolutely about helping people. That's why I love it so much. A free event where anybody can come and get round about it and experience the experience. The new course, the new programme that's coming is called The Experience. I realised last week, a couple of days before it in meditation, that I need to give people the experience. I could talk about this stuff for days. It's never ending, the amount of information and the way you would like to try and give it to people. But it's the experience, and that's what happens. That's why when we see people standing up in their hearts and reconnected and feeling how they're meant to feel and able to feel, then it's the experience that I'm giving that gets them to that place. No words will ever do that. So that's the plan. Very, very soon, possibly as soon as next week, there's going to be live Zoom recordings that anybody can tune into. You can sign up and come in and come and go through it, and I'll take you through the breath work and the relaxation and the meditation and teach you how to switch off your nervous system and teach you how to get to sleep and teach you how to meditate. Very important. Most people don't know what meditation is, and I'm absolutely all about bringing that back. So we're going to have that online and give people the experience of it, and then at that point, then the choice will be, how far do you want to take it? But without the experience, it doesn't work. So fantastic. Sunday was absolutely magical. In so many ways, we learned so much. Holy moly, did we learn? Again, very different as well when you're just giving stuff away, and it's different when there's an exchange in terms of monetary, and it's maybe a professional service you're giving, whether it's corporate or something like that. And I'm not saying we were slack in one area, and in particular, and this is where I hold my hands up, because with these events, I've been doing them for so long now. The people that come, probably 95% of people that had a cold water exposure practice, so they're used to getting in the water and jumping out with their swimming courses on. Most of them are, I'm not going to say they're they're not, but we're a special breed. We're special. And now the way that this is, we are now capturing images and footage of the day with the Vortex as a business. For the first time, it's been proactive, so we're now taking these images and we're using them with one singular intention, to try and let people get in about it and see what we're doing so they can get inspired to come and find answers for themselves. That's it. That's absolutely it, and one person out of the entire group took offence to the fact that, and I thought we had, I was assured that we had the rights to do this, so the disclaimer or the waiver that people were signing coming in, it kind of covered us, but it didn't. It wasn't clear enough. If I was going to someone, and I don't like this sounds bonkers, but I don't really like the idea of me even standing in shorts. I don't like really seeing myself. So I completely get that, especially us, Scottish people, shy, reserved, a lot of us, depending on what stage you're at in your life, what you're going through, how you're looking physically, absolutely. Do you really want the world to see you standing in your cosy, covered in tears and slaughters after greeting going into the sea? Absolutely not, and I get that. So there was one person that basically, the first video that I put up, and that's why I took it down, the next day basically saying that, no, you can't do that, I've just checked your terms and conditions, and there's no consent, and it was an interesting process because we thought we had it, but we didn't, so we took the video down straight away, absolutely, and I got it. I spoke at great length to the person involved, and I got it, and they were absolutely right, and we were wrong, so took it down straight away. And apologies to anybody who is or was offended by that if they saw themselves, and again, we're learning as we're going. We're doing our best to the team, we're always constantly finding what's next. It's rapid expansion just now, so we don't come up a lot of that against a lot of that stuff, but like say that, we'll hold our hands up if we're ever ahead and say, okay, right, we're really sorry, how can we help, how can we make it better? So we took the video down. And the next couple of videos that I shot were passed on to me, were further away, looking at the backs of people's seats, and if anybody gets offended by that, then oh god, so, but that's the thing, you need to be aware of this, as we become proactive and try and take it to the world, which is the plan. We need to be aware of all of this stuff, so we're learning as well, we are absolutely learning, so nothing in vain, loads was learned. The next ones that come, we will absolutely be using the video footage, so it's going to be a lot clearer, it'll be a big X, marks the spot. If you don't like yourself to be in the cameras, don't want to be involved in that, then either don't come or you basically stay to the side, which is quite difficult. So it's probably, and most people I think are fairly comfortable with it, especially those kind of numbers. I mean, who can really be identified in the crowd? They're mostly taken from a fair distance away. So the consent for that and doing it properly, and there's no sneakiness. There's no we're going to take it and use it to go. And it's not about that. We're just trying to show people what it is we're actually doing, with the intention of inspiring them to get them round about it. And 99.9% of the people, what we got at the weekend. It was amazing. We manifested our own production team at the weekend. My brother. We already have Michael and Fern. They basically do everything in terms of all the online stuff and all the new stuff that's coming out with the programme and how the Vortex is now running online. Michael and Fern, who you will get to meet at some point, hopefully very soon, how they come into my life and the Vortex life and the work they're doing with me and for this mission and how they're involved in it, which is 24/7. God bless their souls. So they're there, and then at the weekend, right out of the blue, Mark Auld, is one of my best friends in the planet now, and he's been out about the work for the last 4 or 5 years. Actually came to the very first one I did in Edinburgh, which was back in 2017 or 18. Probably 2018, and I always thought he was for Edinburgh, so just watching his journey, and then at the weekend him and another brother of the Vortex on the programme, Darren, one of Michael's good friends, his best friend in fact, they ended up taking the testimonials and the videos, and it was just brilliant. They are just only goodness, and then watching people's responses, and I haven't seen any of the videos yet. I've seen a couple of wee clips. One of them actually thought that Mark was my boy, which I'm thinking, he's like 36, 37, I'm 52. I thought, well, there's something all right there. But, just them going in, and then I was speaking to Mark last night, and he was asking the questions he was asking and what people were getting from it. And it was just amazing, like him and the benefits he's getting and what it's done for his life, and then him sharing his experience and basically saying to people, what's going on. It was absolutely beautiful, to think that these people are now passing on the stuff that I've learned through me and the Vortex, so absolutely fantastic. And 99.9% of them, it was just positive goodness. The amount of people that I spoke to, thank you so much. As I was leaving, and the messages at night time, and even yesterday, yesterday was a day of much contemplation. I'm still a wee bit tired. It takes a lot out of me, even speaking for that length of time. When I got back to 9 o'clock, I was away for 7. It was a whole day the day before, it was Saturday. And I'm dealing with mouth issues just now. I need to go and see my dentist up in Oban, Mr. Stuart Wright. I've got an issue, one of my tooth is cutting the side of my tongue, so even speaking for me just now. So yesterday when I stopped, and I kicked the phone away and went for a walk for a few hours in the woods with my dog, just the solitude and being away from it. There's a time to be on it, absolutely, and switched on, and it's great, I love that, but then when you come away from it, and then the contemplation and, right, okay, how did it go, what did we do right, what could we have done better, what's next, which is very exciting. Where are we going after this, which is always, I've always got something lined up, something we'll be excited about next. So there's all of that going on. The kind of, not the autopsy, that's not the right way to put it, but the contemplation phase of, and the processing and getting people's feedbacks and our feedback as to what worked and what didn't. That it's exciting, it's great stuff, because again, when we're going there to help people, it's and people are genuinely finding relief, and finding answers and finding solutions and finding this different way of doing things, learn how to breathe properly, learn how to sleep, learn how to switch off our nervous system, how to meditate, cold exposure. It's a complete reset and a reconnect, so things change very, very quickly. And the plan with this, one of this same person, I'm saying it's different people, it's more or less the same person, all these things are having a go at, but the same person was basically having a go at me for being, more or less being commercial with it, which I haven't been before. And I'm thinking, right, okay, so the profession that they're in terms of what's involved in making that work, and I'm thinking, we're doing that 170 people for free, and I'm being criticised for being commercial, because I've used a clip that lasted about 2 seconds, but we're actually in it. It's just interesting, how you're going to be able to, some of the people some of the time, and other times it's not everybody's going to get it, which is absolutely the way it's meant to be. So we are being proactive. The plan is to take it to the world. The plan is to help as many people as we can. Absolutely, there is no question about it. The mission is on. We are now looking at a Scottish tour. Spoke about it before a couple of times on the shorter videos. We're looking at a Scottish tour. It's going to be kicking off certainly absolutely this year, but between now and the start of summer. And it's going to be, we're looking at different ways of doing it, whether it's just we go and we hit it inside, a couple of weeks and we hit the road, or whether it's maybe a couple of weekends, a month, and we go to different places and we build, the intent, because we need to advertise, we need to get it out there and see who's run about and where we're going to go and find locations, and that's where, over the last, 6-7 years of me being in here, the people that I know and I've met in different ways, whether it's corporate or doing different groups, and there's people all over the country that have been through the experience and they know the benefit of it, and now we're going to be coming to them and into the towns and the villages and the beaches and the lochs and basically presenting for free the opportunity to get on about this work and find what I have found and what I have passed on to other people and what they're finding. So that's really exciting. That's brilliant. That's the mission, is to, with the Breeding believes, is to take it to the world and continue this expansional upswing that we're on just now. There's so much good stuff coming through. The program's been added to every single day. A lot of people on the day we give the offer to sign up for the programme, a 10-day free trial to come in, and there's a selection of videos. It's not all the videos, there's probably 40-50 hours of videos now, which are getting added to all the time, and also the live group breathworks, so either a breathwork meditation, or it'll be just a breathwork session, or it'll be maybe just a meditation, like a quiet meditation session. They're on twice a week. The next one is on tomorrow morning, 6 o'clock, for anybody on the programme, so they're always recorded, so if you miss them you can tune in again. And then there's a Telegram group where there's over 74 members in it now, the daily chats and all that kind of stuff, so it's, the community was a huge part of it when I started it. The plan to get people who were maybe going through this stuff themselves, and they leave here on a Friday night, or they come to a Wednesday night and they get fired out a cannon, oh man, and then they go back to their normality at their own house and nothing makes sense, so now with people speaking a similar language and going through it together, as one, funnily enough, then you've got somebody to talk to, and that's what a big part of the programme is all about. The programme's £1 a day for those who are wanting to sign up for it. You get a 10-day free trial, and then the offer on the day always for the big events is like 2 months free, so it's less than £1 a day, and it's paid monthly, and you can either sign up on the day, which includes you get a free one-on-one with me online, and you basically get access to the programme, the videos, and then the live recordings. And it's really, once you learn the work, that's not really, the programme isn't that. The programme's in your own life experience off the back of that. You just learn that the information and the language that I'm teaching and the way that it is, the way it goes together, then your life experience and your own awarenesses and your intentional living and how much work you're doing yourself, that'll be your teacher. The life lessons that you're going to get is through your own life experience. So the stuff that I'm teaching is just to make that as easy as you can, the different modalities to help the physical and the mental and the emotional and the spiritual part of you navigate its way through it. So that's what the programme is. The stories, and you just need to see the testimonials, which we don't ask for. We never. I have done in the past, but there's so many people now getting positive, results, that they're basically leaving the testimonials because of what they've been through, or they've maybe been searching for a while and they come round about this, and they get through it. And then they start to apply it, and it's certainly if they do get on the programme and it's accessible 24/7. That was always a big thing for me. Every time I did it, I did something anywhere. Can I buy a recording? Where can I get this? And there was never anywhere until this year, and now there's a lot of them. They're everywhere. We've got them all over the place, so which is great. That's the best part for me. The big introduction on Sunday, which was probably 20 minutes, half an hour, just telling a wee bit of my story, the stuff I've been through, why I'm qualified, a wee bit of my teachers, the reasons that I do it, what happened to me, how I made my way back, how I transcended all of my challenges, the healing journey that I'm on, which is what this is about, and then sharing with them with actual the experience of here is how we do it, and then forget all of that, let's lie down and get through the breath work. let's lie down and switch off your nervous system and get you out of your head, and then let's reconnect you back into your heart and yourself and your soul and all that you are, and miracles take place. It's as simple as that. It's dead easy. And you know, the people that are being attracted to it, it's always fascinating to watch who gets round about it. But now there's more and more. I'm certainly seeing that, and more people that have been doing different types of work, and now are coming in. And because I've been doing it for so long, and because the experience, I don't see anybody doing this. I really don't. Like I said again on Sunday, enlightenment is the plan, and enlightenment just means the realization of the divinity that's in every single one of us. That's what enlightenment is to me: direct experience of God. Which that same person had a go at as well. You know, the fact about the two things was my vaccine stance, which was wrong because I was just documenting what I was saying, and then, you know, my take on God. And again, I will be clear, God to me is not some dude sitting on a throne with a Celtic strip or a Rangers strip, or he's not a Muslim or a Jew or a Christian. Or the divine to me is source energy, it's consciousness, it's a field. That's what I experienced after 17, 18 years of meditation and intentional work, you know, after reading the books and learning and listening to the yogis and listening to the tape cassettes with Dr. Dyer, and then reading into Patanjali, and, you know, and really going after it, the Eastern philosophies and the Tao, and, you know, hundreds of thousands of hours every single day until I got the experience. Again, I got the experience. Otherwise, I'd just be talking about what I saw in a book. But I'm speaking from my own experience. So when I say God, you know, that's why I'm not talking about religion. That's not God. And then I did another post yesterday about Jesus. You know, how, you know, I believe, you know, Jesus was absolutely real, and I believe what he believed in terms of the way. You know, Jesus was talking about, you know, the divine and God the Father, and, you know, the way that it's meant to be. He wasn't talking about religion. You know, he believed that. He could see through that. And there's certainly a lot of challenges that I face, and those that know the way, we're on the same page, you know. So, and that's where when they take his lessons, and they make it their own, and they organise it under a religion, then I've got challenges with that, because he wasn't about that. I don't believe, might be wrong, but I don't believe he was about that, you know. So at that point, we're on the exact same page. I don't agree with, you know, just the way that they've done it and tried to sell it, and the cost that has been, you know, a result of them shoving it down people's throats. You know, what the Catholic Church has done worldwide, and, you know, the amount of wars that are started because of religions, and whatever side it is significance to God. You know, at that point, it's that's where it's wrong for me. That's why I believe that religion separates. It does. It segregates and keeps us fighting on some. Maybe not as much now. Certainly in this part of the world. Other parts of the world, obviously, the different holy wars that are going on just now. You know, so you then got to question, you know, is that what the divine's all about? Is killing each other and being the most significance, and you know, claiming the land and building the biggest churches to show your devotion and whatever it is for it. You know, is that really what God's all about? And that's not the God that I know. You know, so interesting, really interesting what came up and what came through. For me, you know, going forward with it, and the intention to keep moving forward with it and to keep giving it to people best that we can, that's the plan. We're now into it. These videos are getting easier and easier. There's so many things I want to talk about. There's so many things I believe that this work helps with, which is great. And there's so many different ways you can access it. You know, that's the other thing. You know, people are now asking, right, what's next? And there's different ways you can get around about this. The Friday night in's great. That's a snapshot. That's probably an entry level. Come, you know, if you've never done breathwork or cold exposure before, come and do a Friday night in. But the next step beyond that is the 1 day event, 1 day to change your life, which is that's a real introduction to the program. It's an 8-9 hour session. Where you're going to get all the stuff from a Friday night in. You'll get the experience, you know, you'll get the breath work and learn the breath work, learn how it goes together. But then I start to talk about the things that I've done and I've learned with my own program. And I'll talk about the 3 pillars, which, you know, the power of awareness, the power of intention, the power of alignment. We go through the wheel of your life, which again is original to me. We see how we can fix our life very, very easily by tending to just one thing. And, you know, that based on, you know, again, people going through and learning how to breathe and meditate, and then into the river and reconnecting with the self and Mother Nature and each other, and remembering. You know, it's all about remembering, and it happens very, very quickly. It's 1 day. It is 1 day to change your life. That's what people are saying. That's what I'm getting. People are saying to me, literally, it is 1 day. You've named it bang on, and I know that. I know it's a truth. I know what happens when people come in and they get what I've learned over the last 26 years. and they basically, they get a complete understanding of every single way that I came to the conclusions and how I put it together and what it means to me, and then how I'm teaching it, and then the experience of it, and then how they can then, bring it into their own lives, and it's literally changing lives. And the good news is, at that point, that's still, then it's the next bit. So now we've got all these different bits where people are never going to go, right, that's me done and dusted. It's always evolving, which is also great. But then it's a program. Once you get through the 1 day to change your life, then it's a program, and the program is the intentional life. So the online program and how you navigate your way through your own life experience, and what you do to make that better if that's what's required. Or if you're already doing great and you want to fly, how do you take it so you fulfill your potential? That's the thing with everybody, fulfilling your potential. If it's gone already great for you, then magic, let's go and get it to the next level. And there's so many levels to that, between the diet and the sleep and the meditation and the breath work and the intentional living and manifestation and your philosophy, and how everything matters. Of course it does. Every single thing matters. It's really exciting, because we now have not a complete package. We've got a fair chunk of it. It's always evolving, which is a bit that I like. There's so many things I want to add just to the program, with the videos and the feedback we're getting of what people would like to see, whether it's a 10-minute relaxation, or whether it's a 20-minute. I did one the other day which was relaxation and regeneration in 20 minutes. I'm going to be doing a power nap one, I think, the next couple of days, where you can basically just switch off for 5 minutes. And this is stuff that I learned growing up if I was playing football, or later on if I was going for a night out, like a power nap, like a party nap, so that's something that if you're not slept well, if you're up with kids, or during the night, or you're not sleeping properly, then 5 minutes can be enough to switch you off, and you get a reset for the rest of the day. And also things like meditation. Wayne Dyer taught me like 8 hours of sleep is equivalent to about 1 hour meditation, proper meditation. So when I was ever up, as I was every single night between 3 and 4 in the morning, if I had like deep meditation, I would tally up and turn it into a positive, so I would be lying thinking, I've just had 3 hours meditation. That's like 24 hours sleep, so it's and I was never tired. To be in spirit, to be inspired, you don't get tired, which is a quote. That's a poem. It's just to be in spirit and to be in this flow and being excited, and you add that in the proper foods in terms of water-based foods, and you learn to breathe properly, so you're generating energy. You learn how to switch it off so you can sleep properly. And my challenge is that it becomes I'm on it all the time, and it's, as I feel just now, I'm tired just now. It's not been a couple of years since I've had a holiday, so I'm absolutely needing to recharge the batteries, because a new guy came down about the Vortex last week, and he was asking me how I was doing, and I says it's full on. I says it's when I'm in this full flow, I don't get a break. And he said it was brilliant. He says people say it's no rest for the wicked, but I do believe there's no rest for the blessed. And since he said that, I've loved that. When I wake up and I feel a wee bit like yesterday, I was like, but we go again. There's no rest for the blessed, and there are so many people blessed just now. There's so much goodness. I watched it on Sunday with the programme members that came up, the people I now know personally, and no doubt the amount of other other souls in that group. There's so much goodness in that group. Some of the smiles and some of the human beings, I can feel where people are. The hugs that I got at the end, and just the heartfelt messages, and it was all goodness. 99.999% goodness, and then 1 week and a 1 week cloud, which was great because you focus on that and you learn. I love the contrast. I love the okay, how can we make it? Because it's, as I'm saying to my team, it's like everything matters. This needs. I've always been. It's like steadfast. You can't slip. When you're doing this kind of stuff, it needs to be right. You can't just, that all day, it doesn't work for me. The standards are so high because of the nature of the work. We're looking for mastery, impeccability, so everything matters. So we can't assume anything. We need to take everything as, right, okay, let's be, obviously do our best, but we need to get it right, and that's the plan. So it takes a lot of work, and it isn't work, but it's all consuming, which is great. I absolutely love it. I'm happy when I'm busy and I'm doing this work. This is now work to me. And the fuel that I get from my fire is the amount of people that we're helping, and that is the absolute intention with all of this work, is to take it to the world and to help as many people as we can. And absolutely, that women having a wee go about the commercial side, that we need the money. So the corporate stuff that we're looking at, the online stuff, that the programme, which is £1 a day, and the plan is to get thousands of people on it, because the money is going to be taken and reinvested back in, so we can get centres and farms, we can grow our own food, multiple of them, and bring people in and get them away from their phones and teach them how to breathe and get them into nature, which you only really need to be in. You go far enough up north, you don't need to be that far away. You get across that bridge at the Erskine Bridge, and within a couple of hours or an hour, when the Wi-Fi signals start to die down, and you start to get into the space, and you start to you get it's a different way of living. It's a different pace up there. I can feel it when I drive back. The minute I hit that Erskine Bridge, it's like you can feel the cloud hitting you, the combined consciousness of Glasgow and everything that's going on just now, So just to be in it, I always feel it when I win the TP, which is happening really soon. I've been asked a lot for all sorts of stuff. What do you call them? What do you call them? My brain's just went completely thingy. Retreats, that's the word I'm looking for. It's been a long day. Retreats, we do the retreats, the TP. I've got 2 TPs, a 9-man and a 16-man. I'm looking at another TP just now. And getting away in the retreats and getting into the space, getting into nature. I've been saying to wife for years, I'd love a couple of donkeys and a couple of Sherpas to get the stuff up into the mountains so we can disappear and get away from everything, be self-sufficient up in the mountains with fresh running water and don't even need that much food. Take some fruit with you for a couple of days and meditation and get in the cold and just be in the space up in that rarefied air, that clean air up there. So there's so much that's coming through. There are so many ways that I am trying my absolute best to get it to the world to help as many people as we can. The hour is late, the hour is nigh, I do believe. It's time to do it. If you are in this at this point in time, light workers, people that are there to help, which there are a lot of. There's a lot of people who are genuinely trying to help for the greatest good. That's my absolute stance. I worked with one of my close friends today, an authentic teacher. We're doing some Qigong. Sasha, my sister, who's absolutely a part of the Vortex, Sasha Mason Mackenzie, who High 3 Holistics and Wellbeing. Again, these ancient practices, that the plan is to that and yoga. My wife's got a yoga class on just now next door in the main room. So yoga has been about for 4,000 or 5,000 years, Qigong's 4,000 years. The natural way of doing things, breathwork, cold exposure, meditation, they've been about forever. So we're really just helping people remember of a different way of doing it, giving them a different possibility. And as always for me, looking at, how is it working? How is the way that we're doing it just now? How's that going? And it isn't going that well. So, right, okay, back to basics for me. What used to work? How do we get back to, any kind of way that's better than this? And it's a natural path, the natural path. I'm hearing horror stories of people like trying to get into hospitals and sitting outside and can't get in. People are in dire need of medical attention and can't get access, there's no beds. And then even if you do get in, as I watched with my mum, and I've seen it with so many people, the horror stories of the bugs and the infections before the medication even gets into you, and the Wi-Fi that's in hospitals, and the food. And then you add in the stagnation of the air, the combined consciousness of the staff. God bless your souls, that's such a difficult job. I watched it for 2 years with my mum, and how some of the nurses, male and female, really shouldn't be looking after people because they can't look after themselves. And it's so difficult. That job is a vocation. You can't almost do that job for money. It's so difficult, the people you're dealing with, and if you're struggling yourself, and if you're eating incorrectly, which a lot of them are, I'm in the hospitals now. I think there's one. Did I see one McDonald's in it? Is that real? There's a McDonald's in a hospital, and then the food that they're serving the patients to try and make them better. I remember one night this nurse, God bless her ignorance, but she was bad. My mum was not in a great way, and the slop trolley came in, and I heard the nurse saying, "Did you see the mac and cheese last night? It would literally have gave you the bulk." And she's 5 feet away from my mum, and I'm just thinking, oh my God. And I had so many, again, experiences of that. The amount of people coming in stressed out they're not. And my mum was in tears a few times because of the way she was cared for. And at the other side of the scale, there was literal angels. So again, it's not just everything. I'm not saying that. I'm talking my experience. There were some angels in there that was just incredible for my mum. As with all walks of life, but there were some people in there that shouldn't be doing that job, so that environment as a combined, how's it going, how's the National Health Service going, how's the hospitals doing, how's the doctors getting on, how's the results, what are the results, let's put it in paper and see the results, and it's not that good, so there needs to be a different way of doing it, and the way is the way, back to nature, the natural path, back into balance, back into coherence, based on these modalities, tools, techniques, practices that have been about forever, that are, I do believe, designed to help us. I was doing Qigong healing sounds today, and I've been doing them for a while now, and I do them on and off, but when I do them I just feel so much better. Then it was energy work, a bit of relaxation, then some intentional healing through meditation and projecting energy and basically uplifting every single cell in your body and your consciousness to a place where things start to feel better and you find relief and things start to shift. We are made of energy, human beings, which most people seem to forget. And for me, getting the source of what it is that's causing it, as opposed to the way it's set up just now, treating the symptom is what it's all about, and if we go to the source and fix it, then for one, they've lost a customer, which is no good for the people that are coining it in. And the big challenge, is most of allopathic medicine is basically treating the symptom. Where it's treating, the manifestation of what the symptom's causing. So let's go to the very end of the line and go, right, what's the manifestation? What's the ailment? How is it coming out in your body? What you experience, and then they try and treat that. And we never ever really go back and go, right, what is it that's causing it? And when you can look back far enough, you'll see it. The environment and the food that we've been eating our entire life, and the stress that we're under, and what's in our minds, and how we sleep, and how the nervous system's switched on. All disease comes from stress and a compromised immune system. So if that's both the case with most people, then neither wonder that so many people are getting sick. And then for me, my teachers are people like Anthony Williams, the medical medium, and Patrick McKeown, and people who, again, it's a feeling thing. You can't really prove medical medium when he's talking about spirit of compassion coming through, which sounds mental. I mean, and you look at him and it's like, what a beautiful human being. But it sounds mental, but then you look at the 250,000 testimonials and all the hundreds of thousands of people who have bought his books and been on celery juice and basically healed themselves of stuff that the medical profession can't heal. And he's talking about the source of what is actually causing it, and how the medical community eventually starts to kind of steal his stuff and take it as their own. He's been doing that for decades now, the last 3-4 decades. He's talking about the cause of these diseases, so all these like neurological conditions and the stuff we're suffering with, whether it's Alzheimer's or Parkinson's. And I remember my mum in it right at the very end, and she was in a ward because there'd no beds in the ward that she should have been in because of her age. She was 74 at the time, and it was people my age. And you went in, and I thought it was like a psych ward. I thought it was to do with mental health challenges, and it was neurological. It was Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. People in their 40s, and you're going, what is causing that? And then you listen to medical medium, and my belief system as to the heavy metals and the viruses now, based on my feelings and based on what I experienced with what's in the heavy metals that I was given through vaccinations, whether it's mercury or whatever's in those bloody vaccines. Your immune system, like autoimmune disease, I do believe that the body to be fighting against itself, I'm not buying. The body fighting against something that's inside it, whether it's medication or what's in the water or the food, as I've spoken about before. That feels more like that could be the case to me, as if the body's fighting against something like a foreign agent. I remember mercury at high school and being terrified of it. And then you think about your fillings. I got all my fillings done. But I'd done my mouth for the best part of 45, 46 years, 47 years before I get them done. And you think about mercury vapor and what it does to the cells and what it does to, and then heavy metals, and it's like, so something's causing it. And I think the discussion needs to be like, what is it that's causing it, and how do we make it better? And then we looked at it as, are there any answers? And there isn't that many answers. And you look at Anthony Williams, who's gone, here's an answer. This came through the spirit of compassion, which is what channels through him. He calls that God's compassion for man, which I love. And then he goes, like, food is a medicine, like let food, proper food, and the combinations that have came through him. And again, it sounds mental, but let's look at the testimonials, and let's look at the people online who are suffering from all sorts of like horrific skin conditions, and eczemas and psoriasis, and then they switch to lemon juice and celery juice and heavy metal detox smoothing. And inside a couple of years, then their skin condition is back to the way it's meant to be, because they've got the metals out their system, and then he explains the viruses. So again, everybody's belief system's different. I can only talk about from where I'm coming from. I've been juicing celery for the last probably over 3 years now, every single day, and the medical medium protocols. I'm absolutely a massive fan of what he's doing. I see only good in that man. Solutions, so lemon water, the celery juice, heavy metal detox smoothie. I wish I had more money. I'd be on all the supplements that he recommends, because I did it for 1 month once and I felt incredible. One of the biggest challenges we face is the lack of minerals and the supplements that we don't get from the food because of the way that it's grown and what's been done to the earth. The challenge we face for soil degradation. So again, it's death by 1,000 cuts. It seems at the minute we're getting sick for many, many different reasons, not just one thing. But what are the answers? What's the solutions? We can see, many of us, what's causing it and how bad it is, and then there's not a lot you can do about that because the environment isn't going to change. So what's the solutions? How do we make it better? And that's where the light is coming through in so many ways just now. There are so many answers and so many solutions. It's a great time to be alive. It's a great time to be a light worker, to be in the light and fighting against the shite, the darkness and the horribleness and There's so many answers and so many people finding relief, and it's a great time. We're all rising together as one, as people experienced on Sunday. A lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them, once you reconnect back to yourself and back into your heart and the real power, that divinity that we carry inside of us, as I learned for myself, then the power that we human beings can take into this world, and really live in the way that it's meant to be, then everything gets better. So that's really, really exciting. That's all good stuff. So onwards and upwards we go. We keep moving forward. I am now going to be kind of probably switching gears a wee bit, I suppose. There's so many different things. I'm going to dip in and out. I'm going to be telling more bits of my story. There's so many different bits between the traumas and the things that I've been through, and the answers and the therapies, and what worked for me, what didn't work for me. My book's going to be coming out very shortly as well, I'm hoping, which is, my story, which is Darkness to Light. And as always, I'm just documenting. This Godcast is me documenting what I'm doing as a normal working class human being, what I've learned along the way. A spiritual being having a human experience, as from being the other way around, when I was just a human being going through life, and then, the spirituality and this intentional path was kind of almost forced upon me. And then the struggle with that, and then the lessons, and then, getting to a point of mastering myself. And then once you get to that point, it's passing on and helping people, which is what we're doing now. So I've done the work, and the intentions to pay it forward and to help people, as many as we can. The team is assembling, how that came together with Michael and Fern, and now Mark Auld is making moves toward it. Sasha with the Qigong, my wife with her yoga. At some point, it's all coming together. We're reaching a different stage in our life where our kids are getting up to that point where, that they're going to be, my boy's been away, he comes and goes, my daughter's going to be going away pretty soon, which is great, for them, and no, it's great for us. But again, with the expansion, we keep, what's next for us? What's the next part of the Vortex? What's the next mission for me? And it's to take it to the world. Because this is universal. We all breathe, and we all need to relax, and we all need to sleep, and we absolutely all should learn a meditation practice. So that's the bits that I know how to do. And then once you get that reconnection, you understand awareness, intention, and alignment, which are the three pillars of this system. And you understand things like being selfish and the benefits of that, then it's on. It's game on. And as Abraham Hicks, one of my teachers, said to me, and I always used to kind of ponder this, like I was in full alignment. Alignment just means to be in the flow of the divine. So to be as above, so below. So to be in spirit, to be inspired, to be in the flow, that flow state, that's alignment. And as Abraham Hicks used to say, one person in alignment is more powerful than millions who are not. Which I kind of got, the way that I felt at certain times, and then seeing how normal people in stress and strain and worry and fear, you're getting at any city, at any time of the day, and you can see where people are. You can see the tiredness in them, and the beaten downness in a lot of people, broken. A lot of them hopeless and sick, a lot of them very, very ill, which is something that absolutely needs to be changed. It really does. And then you see the opposite side of the coin, of people who are living in a different way. There's a couple of people through the programme. Mark Burns is the poster boy. That smile, just joy, just joyful living, by getting up early and getting in the cold, which he was doing. Breathing, meditating, but then applying, this intentional life, and then getting the benefits very, very quickly. Reaping the benefits, and then watching the entire family lifting up, which is what I see all the time. It's always amazes me watching people leave and wondering what happens to their family in their house when their mum and their dad walks into the breakfast table the next morning at peace after sleeping properly and feeling good, and being, grateful for what they've got, maybe for the first time in their lives. So everything gets better. We fix ourselves, and then we fix, we help the family lift up, and then the house and the home and the street and the community, and one person in alignment is so much more powerful than millions who are not. But I always wondered, imagine there was a load of us, and that's what I'm seeing. There are so many people going about this and understanding it, and I'm just building bridges by helping them with shortcuts. And helping them find their own way, their programme that puts a smile on their face. That's what it's all about. I've got my way. I walk in my dug, and doing this work is what gets me through this life. That's the stuff that gets me out of my bed in the morning and keeps me inspired and puts food on my table. Just now, thank you very much to all of you who are contributing. Funny now, where I'm now being really proactive with it, and I'm really, really trying, and I'm looking for it because I know what we're going to do with it. I can see it. I see it every single night when I go to bed. how we're going to take this, the benefits of the proceeds and the fruits of this labour, and then how we're going to reinvest it and to get more people in about it, not just in this country, but the plan is to take it to the world. And it's happening this year, as it's happening now. So exciting times ahead. It really is. Really blessed and really grateful for everybody that showed up on Sunday, and for those who are on the programme, those that are going about this work, those that are coming to the next One Day to Change Your Life. That'll be up. It might even be up by the time this video goes out. This is probably going to be probably this Friday, or a couple of days before this video goes out. And we keep going. We didn't stop. The time is now, and I've been waiting and allowing it to unfold, and I've always been kind of patient with it and never forcing it, and now here we are. I think back to how far this has come in the last probably 3-4 months, with the programme and even doing this, the videos, and how many people are starting to get around about it, and the benefits that are being felt because of what I've worked out and the way that I'm sharing it with people, so that's really exciting, and that's something that absolutely will be continuing until the day that I die, whenever that is, so onwards and upwards, for the greatest good always, to help as many people as we can. We keep moving forward, do your best every single day. We're here to help everything gets better, whether it's mental health, physical well-being, no matter what it is, the heavy stuff, to the light anxieties and just not feeling quite great, all the way up to people that are flying. It's everything gets better. That's what we see when people learn how to live this way. And as I keep saying, it's all about fulfilling your potential. It's all about you getting it for yourself. Really like getting to the end of your life and looking back and going, what, I got it, man, I got what I came to get, I fulfilled my mission. That's what it's all about. That's my mission, to help people find that way. So love and light, onwards and upwards, for the greatest good always. And bye for now. I will see you very soon. Take it easy. Peace out. God bless.